First of all, coaches, to all of you who've taken the time to come over, thank you first and foremost. What we're about to do is answer some questions that many of you have, and that's the key. And one thing's for sure, to be successful in the coaching world is to follow those who've already walked your path, because success leaves clues. What are we going to get into today, Stace?
Absolutely. Welcome, coaches. This is long overdue.
Yes.
But it is finally here.
Yeah.
And I'll let you do the honors. Welcome to
the Coach's Corner. I'm your host and professor, Coach Eric A. Bradley, and
I'm Stacy, the director of Master Boxing. And we know you have some questions. So what better thing to do than just to turn the camera on and talk to the man himself? So what we need to address is, how did this even come about? Why are we even doing this?
The key is knowing that as a coach coming up, no matter how hard you're going, there's always going to be the one step forward, two steps back scenario. And why is that? It's because your first decade of learning, you have to acquire skills and learn things that are coming down your road. The second generation basically is all about learning the politics of boxing. But what happens is you need to know the politics and things that go behind boxing in your first decade, regardless of what you're learning. And so there's never been a place created for the coaches that they could actually chop it up with the people who've already walked that walk. And I had the luxury of having that. And when it's all said and done, I still didn't ask enough questions. Yeah. So there's so many coaches that have so many questions, and with a large social media following, we know we get these questions. And even those guys who are in our current situation and are under our tutelage, you have to know a little more. You have to dig a little deeper. And you've all been in situations where you have knowledge of who has that information, but you don't really have the opportunity to ask the question.
Sure. Well, so with that being said, would it be fair to say that this is not skills related?
This is not skills related. This is all about the X's and O's of the actual boxing game. Okay, so it's more than a jab. It's more than footwork. It's more than learning a style. Those are only one component that go into when this sport of boxing that we love. It's so many different components, and you get excited when you're learning this. And what happens is you lose track of what's actually going on. You go to an event, you lose a decision. You don't understand why. When you feel like you've won, your athlete isn't looked at and looked upon like the other athletes that are covered in, affiliates and sponsors and endorsed by companies. And there's a lot of things that you're not clear about. So
So speaking of X's and O's, if we drill this down to X's and O's, what can coaches expect to get out of the Coach's Corner?
They can now feel like they're not alone, because you can be in a gym full of people. But the thing is, you don't want anyone knowing your deepest, darkest secrets, what you lack, what you don't know. And this is where you can learn how to run your coaching program like a business. Learn how to really become an entrepreneur and not have to depend on or rely on any one source or force to get you to your next level, because now you'll have the blueprint.
Yeah. So is it safe to say this is kind of helping you navigate all of that red tape?
Yes.
Exist in the sport?
The red tape is the key thing that most people avoid, and we avoid it for the right reason, because it's actually not fun. And it's not, defense and counterpunching. It's not winning the Golden Gloves or the national tournaments. It's not as sexy as being Olympic gold medalist. It's just the stuff that no one wants to do. It's the guy in the corner in your 7th grade class that's making straight A's. He's not entertaining. He's not fun. He's not great to be around. Doesn't have a lot of character. That's the kind of stuff that coaches don't sign up to do. And that's what we've made cool.
Yes. And so I was getting ready to feel there's a big but coming, because that is the focus of the Coach's Corner.
Yeah.
We're not talking skills. We're talking about the organization of the world of boxing.
Period.
Yep. And as you look below this video, there is a very detailed description of a lot of the topics that we will be covering, that you will go in depth
Yeah.
with this group that is going to be in the Coach's Corner.
And they want to learn how to get to the point of success. And so what you will learn, and your takeaway from the Coach's Corner will be, I got myself to a place that I don't think I would have gotten in a decade, let alone my entire career, because there are certain steps that the 1%, meaning the greatest who've ever done it, there's a road that they took. And being third generation myself, and you being generation 4, you get the map to over 100 years of how did this work?
Yeah.
And how did they actually accomplish that? You're not just looking, trying to copy, you're actually getting the line items in order to get what your program deserves to that level. And most of the people that are taking part are already much further ahead than they ever imagined. And that's what we want for you. So we boxed up this Coach's Corner, which is the first of its kind.
Yep.
This is college, which is cool for coaches. Cool college for coaches. Basically, you have a place to chop it up and learn so much more in the Coach's Corner. And guess what?
What?
One of the questions that most people ask is, how will it be delivered?
True. People
Right.
always want to know that because people are all over the world. How are we going to deliver this to the members?
The members will have basically a very in-depth talk, all right, each month that will cover all of these specific things that they did not know about or didn't have the mastery of. And then they will have a flow chart of X's and O's to follow so that the next time they come into our corner, the Coach's Corner will bring you up to speed and make sure that you're checking off these boxes. Because once they check these boxes off, they're already one level higher and one level closer to their wildest dreams.
Yeah,
So,
and here's a question that I get, knowing that everyone is in a different time zone. Will there be replays available? I get that all the time. So we're going to make sure that we have a very robust portal for those of you who on occasion cannot make it live because you are expected to be there live.
Yeah.
Because it's an amazing experience.
Yeah.
So being live is where you're able to take advantage of the full conversation.
so many coaches have the ability to teach the boxing, but many of them don't understand the sport of boxing, the business of boxing, the politics of boxing. And constantly you see these individuals glamoring over wins and then just head tucked between their legs when losses come. But when you have your framework of how your business model works as a coach, you don't get overwhelmed either way. You don't get too high when things are great. You don't get low at all when things aren't going in the direction of your athlete in a performance, because you have so much of an entity built that you guys are standing on. And that's what's so beautiful about the Coach's Corner. We didn't want to do anything similar to what anybody else has already done, because there's still a humongous hole in our game that must be filled. So what did we do? We created the College for Coaches and the Coach's Corner. Never done before.
Never.
It's never been done before, because that is what's going to be the thing that catapult you and allow you to sleep with an ease of conscience at nighttime and peace of mind. And we help ground coaches. This isn't about just X's and O's and business. This is about your peace of mind. The way that you have placed your feet on the canvas and you've learned to be present in your life while being a successful coach.
Beautiful. So I have a question with all of that being said, who is this not for?
This isn't for people who are not actually coaching top level fighters. Programs that are competitive are not the same as programs that are teaching fitness and aspiring boxers. The kind of problems that you face as a coach when you're working with elite fighters are not the same kind of situations that you're running across when you're working with people for training or people who are thinking about it. There's a whole world of just issues that you have to tackle.
Yeah.
So that's why this is only for those who are working in competitive boxing programs. And the key is making sure that they have the next step to get to their highest good. And
Good. I'm glad that you cleared that up because I know a lot of people are wondering, is it for me? So thank you.
professional and amateur. That's what the difference is when you're third generation. You've walked that walk. We've had great leaders in Coach Adams and Coach Bradley lead over the past 70 years of just constant winning and growth and prosperity in the sport, physically breaking records. And I said, this generation, we're going to put that and turn it into a recipe, bring what we bring to the table, which is efficiency and being very, very pronounced in what we are trying to accomplish and help these guys accomplish. When I coached, I was breaking all types of records when it comes to how did you reach a certain level of success. I had all of those things, so I wrote the recipe. I don't just take for myself. I help the coaches reach where I've accomplished reaching. And that's what's so beautiful about this community. It will be second to none, and I'm looking forward to sharing it with these guys.
Yep. And speaking of community, I think one thing is very important to share is this is going to be a very tight community.
Yeah.
We'll spend the next year together.
Yes.
And we are limiting it to 15 coaches.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the
But it's
reason
important.
that
Why would we do
that has to be because we really take great precedence in working directly and making sure that you are accomplishing what you need to accomplish. And think about this now. When you're in your home at nighttime and you have to either work with your fighters or you have to make a decision to get some rest, what are you going to do? Well, what happens is life starts to take over, right? And we are real people. We're not robots. Coaches get tired. I used to do 19-hour days. And so I had no level of accountability except facing one of the gods, right? And so having coaching in your corner helps you stay efficient and stay on task. And that's why we can only service 15 people. And that's pushing. We're all about quality over quantity. We can't serve a bunch of people with a bunch of different attitudes, a bunch of different personalities, and some people procrastinate and don't move forward. And if you allow that to happen, what happens is that starts to spoil the others who are focused and want more. You are in the sport of boxing. We need coaches who want more and are willing to do the work to get there. All they need is the blueprint. In the coach's corner, you get the blueprint.
That's right. So all the details are down below.
Yeah.
You can get started today. And you can also, if you have a question that we haven't answered up right here in this video, just hit us up and we'll be sure to get back to you.
Yeah, because if they're ready, they're ready. And so if you're ready, this is the time. And we will make sure that there is a application process that we make sure that we fine tooth comb it. So put all the good things about yourself that you feel like you have and you bring to the coach's corner, because you're going to have a fraternity of brothers that think and operate like the greatest who've ever done it. Not the regular 99%, but the 1% who reached the highest level of boxing. That's all I got, guys. Until next time, continue blessings. Thanks again for dropping in and
Thank you.
checking us out here in the Coach's Corner. I look forward to seeing you all soon. In the winner's circle. Peace out.
See you soon.